Hey YouTube, it's Gearshed9 here again, as promised, doing a quick review of my Dunstan House Hope Stove, which is kind of a Frontier Stove rip-off slash copy slash, you know, Chinese version thereof. Now before I start, one of the things I would just want to like to say is that this has actually been modded, okay? Slight issue I had with the legs. It came as a tripod, same as the Frontier Stove, with the central front leg. With this warmer plate we have on the side, this is a detachable warmer plate that comes on and off. Okay, actually really handy. I found that it was quite tippy, so you could push on the corner and it would actually rock enough to lift the back foot up. So what I did is I took it to my local handy blacksmith, Olive Me Forge. Big shout out to John Beavis. He's a really good blacksmith. He basically cut the leg off the middle, took that off, and made an extra leg for me and shifted it over. So I've got 4 legs. So there's 2 legs at the back, see there, 2 in the front. A lot more stable. The other thing we did is we put feet on the end. Basically what it was is these just came down and terminated at nothing. So we put little feet at the end and threw some peg holes in. So I basically peg all 4 corners down to make a nice stable surface. I was a bit worried that we're going to have kids running around it. You might have seen one of my previous videos that we've got this put into a common event shelter. It's kind of a common sun shelter, rain shelter they use over here in the UK in campgrounds. I basically got this in mind for putting it in a tent of some description. It just happened that I threw it into the common shelter. So I just wanted it to be a lot more stable. So that's the idea. 4 pegs on the bottom, rock solid. Okay, ain't going anywhere. Now the other things that make it different from a Frontier Stove. Door wise, Frontier Stove has a couple of little notches that give you the air supply. It has a circular door that's just solid. This actually has an air vent on it, so you can slide the air vent back and forwards. It means you have the door shut and have some airflow. Other thing is it has a, it's going to be a bit noisy guys, so bear with me here. Do this one-handed. Okay, it has a grate. This is just like a set of reinforcing iron rod. As you can see, it's a bit bent already. Been using it a fair bit. Advantage with that is you get airflow up underneath your fuel. And it does burn really well. I mean, in a week I didn't have to, we were using it basically nearly, not quite constantly, but not far off. Didn't have to clear it out because airflow is really good combustion on the bottom. Also evidently you can use coal in it. Haven't tried that yet, I'm not sure whether that's the way to go or not. Just use wood at the moment. So the other thing, apart from having this removable sort of warming tray, I suppose, is that the flue section, the flue diameter on these is larger. It's a 3-inch flue. One of the things after reading about the Frontier Stoves is that the flue, because of narrow flue, I think they're 64mm flue, this is like 78 or something like that, that people finding that would choke up with creosote and soot a lot quicker. So going for the bigger flue, I thought, hey, that might alleviate the problem. It has done, I would say. For a whole week of burning, the bottom sections weren't even furred up, top sections were marginally furred, if at all. I could clean them out pretty easy. What I use as my little makeshift fire tool is out of the wife's old rolling pin. It had 2 handles, one on each end, and the rolling pin section in the middle, you'd roll like that, handle snapped off. But this is actually brilliant. Great as a fire poker, and then you can just pop that up inside, you pop the flue off, just run it around the flue, it takes all the crap off. You can see it's pretty dirty, so that works quite well. So, other thing I did with the, when they were doing the legs, is they have just steel pins. Okay, on a chain with a steel pin that goes through there, I replaced it with these stainless steel pins and these R-clips. Idea with that is that it folds up properly, because it had the legs in the back, they kind of, because they're in line, they kind of interfered when you folded them, it wouldn't fold flat. So now I just shift the leg down 1 notch and slide that through, and then they fold up perfectly underneath there. Okay, so those are the pros. The cons, obviously I had to mod it, which was extra cost, but I'm a little bit fussy. Some people would have just left it and be, oh, fine, just be careful around it. I just wanted it to be perfect, so hence doing all that. Comes in enough flue sections for about 7 foot. Have to buy some more flue sections. They're a little bit Dunstan House is a little bit difficult to deal with. They were going to try and charge me 20 quid to send them to me, and I was like, well, I'll just put them in a bag. And I think they worked out about £9 or something like each. So the downside is harder to get parts. There's no other accessories, so what you have is what you have. So hence I had to make myself a spark arrestor. This is a piece of stainless steel pipe, exhaust pipe. It's perforated, 3-inch one. I just pushed it down inside the flue like that. Sorry, it's starting to really rain now. And the top hat that came with the stove, I put that down the side. Okay, so it's kind of on your own with that. This spark arrestor works really, really well. That was about the only part of it that furred up. I had to go around and then actually unfur it later on in the evening, on the last day, because I was getting sparks actually coming out the top. So sparks and nylon tent, not necessarily the best options. All the stovepipe parts go inside the stove itself. What I do is I take the grate out and the side off and just lay it on. I've got like a big holdall bag that goes into. Same as the Frontier stove, you can take this top off here, so you can put your kettle directly on top. Actually works really well. The kettle boils pretty, I'm trying to do this one-handed, boils pretty well on here. And what I find to do, we'll try not try and do that one-handed, what I'm trying to do, put your kettle on here, and you can shift your kettle to the back, and it actually keeps it quite warm. This gets still quite warm, and then when you want to boil it again, straight back on, straight to the boil. As you can see, like a little bit like Frontier stove, rusty on top. I'm going to, once it all clears and dries and stuff, I'm going to give it a respray. It's had a pretty hard life on its first couple of outings. Okay, so yeah, so pros and cons. Probably the big thing with this is it was way cheaper. It was on sale, it was £99, whereas a Frontier stove you're looking at about 160, 150, around that sort of money. I'm not too worried about having to make pieces up. That's kind of the joy. I like to modify stuff and actually make it a bit better. Yeah, works really well. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be putting it into a lot of other different tents as well. Check out my video on the Frontier stove, this stove in the Coleman shelter. That worked a treat, really, really good. Plenty more room. I mean, people put them into bell tents and stuff like that. Wasn't really keen on a bell tent. I'd rather have like maybe a silk nylon tent that's a bit lighter that I could carry. On that note, this is for putting in your car. You cannot be carrying it. It weighs a lot. Even with the stainless steel section here has bumped up the weight. I think the base weight is something like 12 kilos. It's probably at least minimum of 15 now, maybe a bit more. But yeah, I mean, it's an alternative to Frontier stove. I think the biggest thing is Frontier stove could be a lot better, what I've seen of it. And they brought out a new section, a new version that's got a bloody window in the front. It's kind of like, well, if you actually made the first one a bit better, you know, redesign it slightly, it would be a better stove. But I mean, this is kind of a halfway house. It does work very, very well. A little bit cheaper. Yeah, so check it out. I'll put a link in the description to these guys. I'm not affiliated with them or anything like that. Bought it myself. As I said, I actually put a review up saying, oh, not very stable, had to do legs and that review hasn't stayed on the website. It's not there that I can find. So yeah, take that as what you will. Yeah, no worries. So I'm going to do a few more reviews. I'll keep adding reviews to here. So it's a good idea to subscribe. All this stuff's my own. I've got a whole shack and shed and full of gear that I would like to review. Most of the stuff that I couldn't find, like this particular stove, no reviews, no video reviews I could find anywhere on the internet. There was only what was on their website, which obviously you can take with a pinch of salt. So yeah, thank you very much. So that's the Gear Shed number 9 out, and I'll see you guys later.